guys, Jake Meeking here. Today let's talk about that solo. I think it's some of Tom Morello's best work with Rage Against the Machine. It's from the 4th track on their self-titled 92 album, Rage Against the Machine, Settle for Nothing. I think it's usually a bit overseen and no one talks about that song, but I think once you get through the quite heavy, screaming rap, funk, metal on that track, you find this beautiful jazzy solo. And I remember being maybe 14, 15, hearing that track and thinking, that's one of those songs that I'll just leave to him, that's fine, I don't need to learn that, I can't do that. And it was actually only a couple of years ago I thought I'd dive back into it and managed to visualise it in a certain way and break down, I think, some of the theory behind it, which for me personally helped to see how and why he'd done that. It helped me then to play it. And yeah, I started to nail it. I started to teach it, and from there my appreciation for it grew. It's one of the best solos ever written, I think, and Tom Morello is an absolute G. I don't need to tell you that, you know that, but if you don't know this song and you don't know this solo, listen up, dive in, and see the inner workings of Tom Morello's brain. Okay, so let's dive in and get some close-ups on some of the parts. I think the first thing to say is it's quite an ambiguous key that he's playing in there, the bass guitar. Kind of doing this chromatic run with a D pedaling throughout. So I'm getting a D major from that. And it's Dorian mode from the 2nd degree. If I've just said a bunch of words that you don't understand, like Dorian and modes, don't worry about it, you're just learning a solo, but that's where I think it's coming from. But because of the chromatic nature of that bass part, Tom Morello's then using chromatic parts throughout there as well, but I think just cutting around the notes of that major scale, that's the way I would look at it. It kind of talks of the melodic minor as well. Again, that's something for a later session, but just to see a little bit of the inner workings of it. Anyways, I'll shut up, let's get into it. Okay, so we start off with this beautiful line here. Now I'm having to stretch there, I'm using fingers 4, 2, and 1, and I'm starting string 1, going through to string 3 on frets 14, 12, 10, 14, 12, 10, so a repeated theme there, repeated line, which is always good when we need to add speed. We'll take it at this speed for now. Okay, one more time on that, so that's 14, 12, 10, 14, 12, 10, strings 1 to 2. On to string 3. I'm doing a nice strike there on fret 12 and pulling off to fret 11, adding fret 14 on string 4 and back to fret 11 there on string 3. One more time with the pull off. Okay, see how I reach there for that 14th fret with my 4th finger. Okay, whole part together. And once at speed. Now to achieve the speed there, obviously it takes practice, but I'm also alternate picking with my right hand. That's going to help me attack those notes when I need. This next part here is heavily hammered on. Speed there. It's a beautiful line here, straight out of the E Dorian, and I'm starting here with my 1st finger on fret 11, string 4, and I'm going to roll one strike, frets 11, 12, 14, and repeat on the next string. So that's only 2 strikes there. First of all, striking my D string once, hammer on, rolling, hammering on. Now the same theme. It's going to come onto my 2nd string here, but I'm just going to switch my pattern around. So I'm going fingers 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, coming up a fret to fret 12 on my B string, again striking once and hammering on frets 12, 14 and 15. Let's put those 3 lines together, hammering on. And after I've done that, watch this. Just emphasising the 15th fret and the 14th there with some vibrato as well. So I'm striking those 2 notes. One more run on that, nice and slow. Okay, so far. Now we're going to move on. Okay. So we're doing another roll here from fret 12 again, 14 and 15 on the B string, second string. And then I'm striking these notes now. On fret 12, 14 and 15 on my E string, my top string, I'm playing the same theme. Rolling, single notes, right up to fret 17 there, sliding up or bending. I've seen him do it in both ways. I'm going to slide and retracing my steps. So that's coming from the B string on fret 12. Striking again to slide, falling back, 17, 15, 14. Now I'm mapping out my D major. So that was fret 15 on the B and fret 14 right there on the G string. Okay, one time nice and slow there. Nice little bit of vibrato on the end there, okay? Let's add everything together so far. Alright, hope you got that so far. We're now going to give ourselves a little partial bar here over fret 11 on my two middle strings, on my third and fourth string. And we're just going to rake on both of those there. This 11th fret here, it kind of cancels to nothing, it's just a textural thing really. And I'm going to do a hammer on straight away to fret 12 and then 14 with my forefinger. And roll myself back there. See how that 11th fret cancels out? Okay, but it's about that texture. So nice and slow there. This partial bar there over fret 11, two middle strings, striking both strings. Hammering on my second finger to fret 12, fourth to 14. And rolling back through. My fourth finger's going to catch fret 14 on my D string. And then 5 nice hits there on that 11th fret. Check that out one more time. Okay, once you've got that, back and forth twice there between my 12th and 11th fret. And now we're going to pick up 12th fret B string, back to that 11th fret on the G again, up to 14th fret, back again to the 11th fret, now back to 12th fret B string, back to 11th on the G. We're going to strike that. So we get on the recording, and it's kind of lost in the mix a little bit there. And then we're going to hit this lovely roll here. Quite an important bend in there. Again, I'm doing my partial bar over the 11th fret there. Little roll. Now I'm hammering onto the 14th fret there. I'm not striking it again. I think that's quite important. So I'm trying to use all the velocity I've got from that first hit to bend that string down. I would usually always bend things up, but because I'm catching that note, it feels more natural to drag it down, bring it back to pitch, nice and slow there. We're going to finish off this section with a nice backwards rake there. So I'm just partially muting my strings around the 12th fret. It's important not to quite hit a harmonic because it's a bit too tuneful for this section. He's just covering around that pitch there. See, I don't quite want that harmonic in there. Let's just do that one more time to get context for that. So we're going. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems like a bit of a pointless part in there, but it's actually quite integral to the stylization of this piece. I love that part, and it gets you ready for what's about to come. And what's about to come is this wonderful chromatic run, again loosely based around that major scale, but because we're popping in those chromatic notes, it speaks a little bit of melodic minor and even harmonic minor as well. That's just a fancy way of saying, yeah, we're filling in the gaps on that major scale. So for now, just understand that we're kind of around these notes here, but he fills in everything in between. It's a wicked little line, played with real precision with the right hand. Okay, so let's have a real quick overview up to there, and then we're going to dive into that section. All right, nice and close, pretty slow. All right, so now we're going to take on this chromatic section here. I'm starting fret 10 on my top E string, chromatically, moving in steps, semitones up to the 12th fret, and backwards. So that's 10, 11, 12, 11, 10. One more time. Then I'm going to catch my 12th fret on the B string. And I'm going chromatically, descending there on the B string. Okay, let's talk fret numbers a second. So string 1, 10, 11, 12, 11, 10, 12 on my B, 11 on my B, 10 on my B. And then I'm catching fret 12 there on my G string. Let's get up to that part. This is where the pattern's going to change slightly now, so he's chopping in and out of this chromatic run. Back to the B string, but this time just to frets 11 and 10. And then chromatic on the G again. Check that out. The pattern here is going to continue by dropping to fret 12 on my D string, back to G, to the 11 and 10, chopping up that chromatic run. Let's add that in. And continue the theme up to the 12th fret on my A string. That's where it's going to change up slightly here. One more time, nice and slowly through that. Once I've hit that bottom A there, I'm going to jump straight back to fret 10 and we're going to do a nice chromatic run on both strings there. So that's on my D string, G string, chromatic runs, 10, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, break it up here on the B string, 10, 12, 13, top 10 there. So from that A, and again, the timing there is slightly pained and slightly strained, so we're gonna... Now we run back, tracing our footsteps there. So that was the 10th fret on the E, 13, 12, 10. Now our pattern comes back in. That was me jumping to my 12th fret and doing two chromatic runs of 3 notes. 12, 11, 10, jumping strings, 12, 11, 10, 12, cutting in again, 11 and 10. Now we do a nice, on my G string there, that was rolling down from frets 12, 11, 10, 9, changing string, 10, 9, quite a deep vibrato, almost a kind of a quarter tone bend there. All right, now this bit's complicated. Let's take it from that A again to do the ascending run. Again, a little slower than the whole part. Okay, now the whole part together. One more time, a little slower. Once you get it, it's almost easy to play it at speed like that. The notes just roll through each other. Hope that section's clear. It's tricky. Go through this a few times. Tablature is going to be below in a PDF as always, guys, so don't fret, don't fret. Okay, finishing off now with some real kind of staccato, nice hammer-on rolls here, okay? Coming back to fret 12 on our B string, we're going to hit a 12, 14, 15 hammer-on rolls. One hit with the right hand there. Now we're going to grab this. Nice bit of suspense with that note there, adding in that F to E there on frets 13 and 12. So, hammer-ons, striking both these notes here. Repeat the line, and then hit the last two notes. Lots of vibrato. One more time with that. 12, 14, 15, 13 on my E, 12 on my E. Repeating the first line with a nice hammer and rolls. Hitting those last two notes with vibrato. And finishing with this part here. So that's rolling on my 4th string on my D there. Fret 11, 12, 14. And then hitting 11th fret on the G, and we're going to hit it 3 times there, slowing very gently, dynamically coming down to play us out of that solo. Absolutely gorgeous. Last section one more time. Okay, let's have a close-up of the whole thing. Beautiful. Okay, so guys, as always, there'll be a PDF file on the bottom of this video with the tablature for the guitar solo. I hope that's helped, just sometimes seeing a nice close-up on there, hearing maybe what type of scales it's coming round is useful for your own composition solos in the future as well, because when I hear a solo as special as this one, it does make me think, well, what's going on there? That's why we took a really quick look at the bass line. There's some chromatic notes happening in there around that pedal of a D. I've identified, I think, that D major scale and an E Dorian mode with some filled in notes. Think of it like that. We're playing the accidentals, but he plays them with such confidence that you know every note counts. Every note wants to be there. He's not simply just filling in the gaps. It's a fantastic solo. If you don't know the song, head over and take a listen to it. Maybe I'll link that below as well. Play along the tracks, slow it down on the YouTube video, take a look at my close-ups, read the tablature. Definitely step up your game with your solo work and put it into your own compositions as well. As always, like, subscribe, share, comment, and keep up the playing. Thank you so much, guys. Cheers.